how was your week? How was returning back to work this week?
It was a pretty good week of work. It was a nice, easy week, stress-free, so I got no complaints.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that. So you didn't have additional work stuff hanging or looming over your head after the holiday vacation?
No, not really. After the vacation, I was kind of relaxed. It was a good reset
Okay.
on life. Seeing family and friends and getting to be able to just enjoy my time with them.
Absolutely.
So that was really refreshing.
Okay. Nice. So you got to go back to work feeling refreshed, kind of what we were talking about last week, having that balance. You kind of felt more in control of that work to life balance that we were talking about.
Oh, absolutely. It was that perfect stretch of a break that I needed.
Good.
And it helped out a lot for sure.
Okay. So coming off of that on season, that fire season, it was much appreciated.
Indeed.
Good. I'm glad you had that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's kind of just delve in to kind of what we were discussing. So last week we talked about the struggles that you were having about maintaining that work life balance. More so, I think in your words it was working to live, not living to work. And kind of striving for that and having that flux and that imbalance, especially during the summer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so one of the things I remember as kind of the goal is kind of developing a plan and finding a better balance in your work and life.
Yep.
Okay, good. So one of the things I kind of want to talk about is the feelings that you have when you're having those imbalances. More so when that imbalance is occurring, it sounds like with work. Can you kind of key me in on how that makes you feel when you're feeling imbalanced?
I guess the first thing that comes to mind is I feel like I'm not really present when I'm back. My motor, meaning my brain, is always going. It's non-stop, so when I get home it's kind of that same mentality. And it's hard to shut it down sometimes, and so I have my 2 days off and I like to spend it with my loved ones and friends. And also trying to find my own time. When we're away for that long, you're with 19 other people 24 hours a day. The only time, like we discussed, was the only time you get alone is when you're asleep, and that's not really beneficial for me to kind of break down the day and the weeks. So when I get home, a lot of people want to see me, or I want to spend a lot of time with people. And that mentality keeps going, where it's like I don't stop, and I keep going, and it's a struggle to just take a deep breath, and just relax and have nothing on my plate. It seems like it's hard to do.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a little overwhelming to make that transition.
Oh yeah.
So overwhelming, what other feelings?
Stress.
Tell me more about that.
I'm kind of always thinking about am I spending enough time or utilizing my time with my friends and family appropriately.
Okay.
Or am I just kind of there? Is it not really? It's just quantity time. It's not really quality time.
Okay.
And that kind of stresses me out a little bit, and kind of scares me sometimes. I'm just wasting those opportunities.
Okay. So kind of not being in that moment, and you're more inside of internalizing, and you're thinking about, oh my gosh, am I making this quality time, or is this just quantity time? Am I going through the motions? So that kind of stresses you out, and
going through the motions. That's a good way to put it.
And it stresses you out, and it sounds like it kind of gives you that, a fear, or you said scared, but to me it sounded like a little bit of fear about, am I doing this the right way? Am I just kind of bypassing life? Okay, That's a really strong feeling. Okay. Are there any other feelings that you have when you're feeling this imbalance, especially that pull towards work and that transition back?
Or the transition back to
Like
my own
winter
time.
yeah, or your own time.
Not really.
No?
Nothing that really comes to mind right now. Those are the main ones that always kind of circle around my head, and that's where my thoughts usually go.
Okay. So, one of the things I want to do with you is I'm going to ask you a question. It's kind of can be uncomfortable or a little silly.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you if a miracle occurred and you didn't have this imbalance and these feelings, you weren't feeling them anymore. Say you went to sleep one night, tonight for instance, and you woke up tomorrow, how would you know that miracle occurred? Because you would be sleeping, so you wouldn't know the miracle occurred.
Okay.
You'd wake up, and how would you be able to identify that this miracle occurred? All your worries kind of went away.
That's tough because the only way I would really know is going to those assignments or going, having the long summers. And when I do get back, I think like I wouldn't have those feelings anymore. Somehow I'd either be able to cope with being away a long time and returning back to my normal lifestyle and not have any of those thoughts or feelings. I'm not really sure how else I would know other than living it.
Okay. So you're saying that you would see a absence of those feelings that we just discussed, that the fear, the stress.
If those turned into more of like an excitement, and not to say that I'm not excited when I get home, I'm extremely excited, but it would be more of a happiness and I guess they're just those other feelings just would not pop up anymore, or occur.
Okay. So you said you could have like an excitement. Would being present in that moment be something that you'd be excited for?
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that miracle occurred, you wouldn't realize it, you're saying, until after you transition back home and realize that you weren't stressing or having the fear that you weren't connecting to others.
Yeah.
And instead you would feel excited.
I'd feel that connection more than not.
So maybe being able to be in the moment, it sounds like?
Probably. That sounds like the right attitude, the right mindset.
Okay. So let's go back to you wake up and it's a work day.
Okay.
Maybe it's just, tomorrow is, your Friday or whatever, but how would you know that was different? Would you be able to see that miracle occurring in just a regular work day?
I don't think so.
No?
Not in the wintertime at least.
Okay.
In the summertime perhaps, but there's always the chance that you get that call and you go across the country and you're gone for 21 days, and so that looming thought that when you leave the house that morning you might not be back for a long time, I think is always going to be present.
Okay. So if that miracle occurred in the summertime, and you wouldn't have those fears and worries anymore.
Oh, I see.
How would you know it'd be different?
How would I know? Just the fact that I wouldn't have those thoughts or fears anymore, and I would just be super excited and happy all the time. I guess that would be a dead giveaway to me that all those doubts and stuff would be gone.
Okay, so walk me through it. You wake up, say it's summertime, and the night the miracle occurred, you wake up the next morning.
Mhm.
What would that look like? You would wake up without these concerns.
Mhm.
What would I be able to see?
Um,
You wake up.
I'd be really happy. I'd be smiling, I would think.
Okay.
Um,
How would
I'd
your
be-
getting ready for work routine be?
on an assignment or at home?
Well, you're getting ready to go out for your day, and you might get a call. It's probably
Oh.
likely.
How would it look if the miracle occurred?
Mm-hmm.
Probably make some coffee. Play with my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Um, enjoy a nice breakfast.
Okay.
Um, just enjoy my morning overall. I think
Okay.
it'd be very carefree.
Carefree. Okay.
Mhm.
So you enjoy your morning. You go off to work, and you're
Mhm.
feeling carefree. You just enjoyed a good morning.
Mhm.
Soaked it in almost. It sounded like.
Mhm.
Okay. So you go to work. Tell me about what that would look like.
At work.
You just
Uh,
arriving, or maybe even driving to work. Tell me about that.
Probably be blasting my favorite music,
Okay.
rocking out,
Mm-hmm.
um, letting people pass ahead of me probably, and not caring at all. I would think. I'm not sure.
Okay. So would that feel different than normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, depends on the day, but most of the time, yeah.
Okay. So you get to work, kind of had like a relaxed and carefree morning.
Mhm.
You get to work, and maybe an hour into it, you get that call.
Mhm.
How would that feel? How would that look like?
On my miracle day.
Yeah. You don't have these same things on your miracle day.
I think I'd just be really excited about the assignment itself, especially if we were going somewhere pretty neat there, somewhere I've never been before.
Okay.
I think I wouldn't be thinking about my time away from everyone. I'd be solely focused on the mission and my crew members
Okay.
and myself, just the thrill of not knowing what's coming, but
Okay.
being prepared for it. It's pretty fun, I guess. Pretty fun.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is you're focusing more on like the thrill and the excitement of going to a new place,
Mm-hmm.
The experiences you could have with the other people, or that you could have yourself, and kind of letting that, like, kind of marinating in it
Yeah.
and focusing on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so those are some things on a summer work day where you're getting an assignment that you would be noticing that miracle occurring.
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Those sound like really, really like positive thoughts about, if this problem that you're having, this imbalance, were to go away, that
Mhm.
you would kind of be back into a place where you're enjoying work again, almost,
Mm-hmm.
instead of looking at it kind of in a way that is your concern, almost,
Mm-hmm.
that look at that you have on it currently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when you were talking, it was lots of smiles and your eyes kind of lit up about it. So
Yeah.
okay, so let's kind of talk about some of those things. If those strengths, I guess, let's talk about them. So if you woke up and you were to get up, have your coffee, you're kind of looking forward to the day, spending your morning with your dog, doing those things. Have those things occurred in the past year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Especially during your on season?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that.
About when that occurs.
Like
During summer?
yeah.
Usually, I know what's gonna take place that day at work, and it's something I'm looking forward to. And it could be a variety of things, but maybe we're going up north to cut hazard trees, and that's something I love to do.
Okay.
So getting up there and getting a chance to do that is fantastic. So I would carry that kind of same, I think, mindset of just happy and excited for the day to come, and everything that goes with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay. So it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you know what you're able to look forward to, that helps, what your day looks like.
Oh, for my morning, yeah, because
Yeah.
you know already that, you're lined up for a great day.
Okay.
The unknown is kind of stressful,
Where you see the challenges and more of those
Absolutely.
things pop up. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, in life, you can always know what's going to happen. You're never going to know if you get a fire assignment.
No.
Okay, so, but knowing that you're going to go to work and see maybe those same people, that they're going to be there, especially maybe the people at work that you have those relationships with, and thinking about that when you go to work and you kind of don't know what your day is going to look like, and you're able to still have a good morning. What kind of is behind that? Tell me more about that.
Maybe I had a great night the night before.
Okay.
Or maybe some good news came to me before the morning, and
Okay.
so I kind of carry that on. Maybe I'm excited for something later in the week too that just overpowers all the unknown, of the day to day. Or I think there's a variety of reasons that might cause that.
Okay, so kind of focusing in on the positive.
Definitely.
So when you're able to focus in on the positive, you're able to, it sounds like, enjoy more of those quality moments in the morning.
Yeah.
That give back to your life section of that imbalance.
Absolutely.
Because having a good morning is important to that work to life balance.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being able to focus on the positive is one of those strengths. Can you identify any, like when driving to work, what are some of the ways that you keep that positive, those juices going?
Like I spoke earlier, like good music.
Okay.
Music I like to listen to really impacts me in a positive way. So
Okay.
I'd say that would be definitely one way. Or I carpool to work, so when I'm in the carpool, and the other people in the carpool are also having a positive morning or an outlook towards the day, they're all chatty Cathy and talking back and forth, and they're putting off a positive mindset, then it easily rubs off on me too. So
Okay. So when you kind of go into work and you're with people and everyone's chatting, instead of having like more of a quiet and somber morning,
yeah,
it kind of puts you in that mood of like taking in that moment.
absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So once you're at work and you get that fire call, what are some, tell me about a time where you've gotten that fire call and you haven't been like, oh, another fire call, and you've been excited like you mentioned in your miracle question.
I'd say this year when we got the call to go to Wyoming, because that was somewhere I've never been, whether at work or on my own time, and I was really interested to see what Wyoming had to offer. And we got to go out of state for the first time in many years, which is something that we always want as a crew. And so just the inner excitement of the possibilities of that, but not only that, the group as a whole, the excitement level there and the happiness was pretty cool, pretty rewarding.
Okay. In the next week, until we meet next, what are some things that we just talked about that you can I know it's winter and it's hard to put this into action, but sometimes even going into work on a winter day is like a drag.
Can be.
So, especially if it's quite boring, like you said, a lot of people take time off.
Yep.
So, what are some of these things, like, to build in those quality moments that you could do that we just discussed?
I think if I'm if I just start my morning off with a positive mindset, usually I'm a pretty good morning person, so um, finding time to do the things that make me happy in the morning time, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big part of your day. You know, starting your day off right is going to dictate a lot for you. You know, um, and then the biggest thing I would say is when I do feel like I'm in a rut or down or I'm not really happy or stressed is like we were discussing about turning it on, turn the switch on, and you know, it's not like I have to act like I just won the lottery or anything, but just the simple glass half full mentality of like, oh, that's not a big deal. We can do this now, or
Yeah.
you know,
Or looking for that positive, even though it's hidden.
totally.
Okay.
I think that would be awesome for my well-being.
Okay. So I'm gonna challenge you to do that this week.
Okay.
Kind of living that day like it's a miracle.
Okay.
Kind of waking up and doing that, and just waking up and making that pot of coffee for yourself and loving on the dog and going to school or going to work and having the music on, and then, you know, if your challenge arises at work, kind of just thinking like, okay, where's the positive and where's the silver lining? You think that's something you could do?
Definitely.
Okay, and then next week we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
And see how it went, kind of living that miracle.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good.
I will see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.